Before, when I look at girls with yoga pants, you know, if my dick doesn't get hard, it would at least tinkle. But when I was filming those girls, no such feelings. In fact, I felt like they were my daughters. You know, just a piece of my own creation. So I think my normal state of consciousness 2 to 4 years ago, in terms of sexuality, is the same as my state of mind now when I'm totally fucked up. So I'm editing 2 videos right now. One is the one that you're watching, and the other one is called, I caught those Jordan 11s. Fresh kicks. It's gonna be called the deepest shoe review on the internet. Anyway, so people ask me about NOFAP, and I think, see, before I used to fab 5 times a day about 4 years ago, and then 3 years ago I was fabbing 3 times a day, but now I fab once or twice a week. Now I tried NOFAP for a while, and what I realized is that it worked to a certain degree, and then there's a point of diminishing returns. See, basically, if I don't fab for 2 weeks, I can feel, you know, my semen gets retracted into my spine and gets, you know, converted by the spinning disc in my chakras and turns into kundalini juice. And then it goes upward into the brain, and then it gets metamorphosized even more into the steam of creative thought. But if I don't fab for, let's say, I think my personal preference is fabbing every 7 or 10 days, right? Any longer than that, say 2 weeks, anything longer than that, my sperm factory, the workers in there, goes on a boycott, and the factory gets rusty, and then the whole steam engine gets shut down. After you recognize no self, a lot of the other small selves that are branched off from the illusion of the core self gets dissolved. See, Buddha says no self, no problem, right? And you know, I still have problems. I'm not a Buddha yet, but see, I think before I was addicted not to sex in and of itself, but to the idea of sex. See, I couldn't go a week without fucking a new girl to ensure the continuation of the existence of Frank Yang, the sex addict. Gone were the identification that were attached to that identity. You know, I always imagine my videos down to the every last frame. It's exactly the same, but a female is performing all the acts. So that's what I've been thinking about recently, is maybe having a daughter, because it's the only way to achieve that goal is to raise my own female Frank Yang. But it must be tough to have daughters. It must be spooky to watch them go through puberty with all that hormonal changes going through their bodies. I mean, it's inevitable that one day, if you have a daughter, she or they are gonna bring their boyfriends home, and you would scan the guy from head to toe, Vipassana style, and just think, it would be like, God damn, this is the guy that's fucking my daughter, and this is the guy that she's blowing. You know, you would just want to punch him in the face. Do you want to molest my daughters? You got 5 seconds. 5 seconds after I answer, you hold that. Fucking kill you. But from the evolutionary biology and psychology perspective, fathers everywhere have to care about their daughter's virginity and pureness more than anything else, for an obvious reason. Because if my daughters sleep around, that would put my own genes that wants to get passed up on the most suitable mate in steak. You have to be cautious about who you're eloping with. Your mate might be carrying another man's child, and that's detrimental to our chances of passing on our own genes. For all biological organisms, the last thing that you want is investing and wasting your calories on the genes of your competitors in the same gene pool.
Wow, that's beautiful. Oh shit.
See, the reason why men get praised almost when they fuck around and women get stoned, burned at the stake, judged when they sleep around is because men's sperm are much cheaper and much larger in quantity. One drop of ejaculation has 1,000,000 times more than just one egg that gets produced a month by a female. Once you get pregnant, you need to invest your energy and calories exclusively to nurture the fetus for 10 months. So females have to be really choosy because the egg is much more expensive and precious. Men can just spray their seeds like mad, come on everybody. Their chances of passing on their genes will be maximized. And this is just from the evolutionary psychology perspective. It's not ultimate truth. It's not the absolute. There is such a thing as absolute truth, and it's beyond language, beyond concepts. But it's fun sometimes to come back to the dream state and revisit those concepts. Like bedtime story that you tell your kids. Anyway, so I think my daughter will be born without any holes in her body. It will be the natty version of the Muslim veil. I will keep her pure until I feel like she's ripe for the world. She's gotta be sensory deprived, like in an isolation tank, and just meditate all day until she's enlightened. And then I will personally drill holes in her body with my fingernails. And if I'm drunk in the process, I'll probably end up drilling holes in all the wrong places, like the anus on the nose, the nostrils on the bottom of the right foot, the belly button on the forehead, the mouth in between the breast, ear holes in between the butt cheeks, and vagina on the bottom of her left foot.